James 3 is a chapter about the incredible influence of our words. Have you ever stopped to think about the power that your words hold? They can build up, they can tear down, they can heal, hurt, inspire, and discourage. What others say to us and what we say to others can last a long time. For good or for evil, the casual, sarcastic, or critical remark can inflict a lasting injury on others. But a well-timed encouragement or compliment can inspire someone for the rest of their life. And Proverbs speaks of the person who doesn't consider the destructive power of his words. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, or death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. That's Proverbs 26:18-19. But I can still hear the exact tone and pitch of things said to me in my childhood. I can still hear it in their voice. Now, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is one of the most untrue statements of our childhood. I've had a lot of broken bones in my life, and they heal much faster than the words that were inflicted by someone or the wounds that were inflicted by someone's words. Let's explore James' wisdom and discover how to use our words for good. The book of James is full of instructions about our words and the power that they hold. Have you realized that in every chapter of James, there are instructions on our words? All 5 chapters, and then chapter 3 contains a significant portion of the chapter dedicated to the power of words. I hope you're seeing the significance that James is putting on the things that we say. Chapter 3 continues the section that started back in chapter 2 on how to illustrate your faith. Because your faith is seen in your words. He begins by helping us understand the weight of our words, especially for those in teaching roles. But the truth is, all of us in various ways are teachers through our words and our actions. And our words carry influence and impact, and we should use them wisely. James communicates a truth that we've already been told in verse 2 by Jesus in Matthew 12:34-37, as he spoke to the Pharisees. He said, you brought of vipers, how can you say, you who are evil can say anything good? For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And a good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him. And an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him. But I tell you that everyone will have to give an account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken. For by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. That's Matthew 12:34-37. So here Jesus tells us that our words are an indicative term of what's in our hearts. James says that you can see the maturity of someone, not in the gray in their hair, the wrinkles on their skin, but the words of their mouth, because the spiritual mature display it through their speech. James goes on to illustrate the power of the tongue so well with these 3 illustrations of the bit and the rudder and the fire. He tells us that when we gain control over our speech, we control many aspects of our lives. We put bits in horses' mouths so that they may obey us, and a tiny bit in the mouth controls a strong horse. A small rudder turns a large ship. Even so, if we have control over our tongue, it's an indication that we have control over ourselves. Whoever can control the tongue can bridle the whole body. So the bit and the rudder are tiny, but they're extremely important. If they're not controlled, the entire horse is out of control and the whole ship is out of control. It is possible for something as small as the tongue to have tremendous power for evil or for good. You don't solve the problem of an unruly horse by keeping it in a barn, or the problem of a hard-to-steer ship by keeping it tied to the dock. In the same way that even a vow of silence is not the ultimate answer for the misuse of our tongue. If the tongue is like a bit in the mouth of a horse or the rudder on a ship, it leaves us with the question, who or what holds the reins, or who or what directs the rudder? Some people have no hands on the reins or the rudder, and therefore they say whatever comes to mind. while others direct their tongue from their emotions or from aspects of their carnal nature. But James points us towards having the Spirit of God, working through the new man, set directing hands on the reins and the rudder. That is our tongue. In verse 11 of this third chapter of James, there's a hard question asked of us. The question that is asked is, can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? Ouch. James knows the truth that Jesus has already taught and said good and evil can't flow from the same source. So our contradictory speech sends a message about the contents of our spring, our hearts. So as we grow in the Spirit of God, we increase in self-control, which helps us with what we allow to come out of our mouths, illustrating that the outflow of our lives is pure strengths. I know it can sound so juvenile to say, watch what you say, but today I don't say it as a pushback to indicate not to cuss, but as an indicator of what is really inside you will always come out. So let's be so full of the Holy Spirit that when we get surprised, that our slips are Jesus-filled and not asterisk-filled.